So when I first picked up the original Transformers Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime, I thought, whoa. It looks like Hasbro took the best case scenario for that design and budget and nailed it at first release. But it turns out that even for a figure of this budget category and sculpt, they were really just getting started. For the first time ever for Optimus Prime in the Studio Series line, they dropped the Takara Tomy Premium Finish, with a pretty noticeable boost in visual appeal, but also with a pretty noticeable boost in that MSRP, let's be honest. So with all of these options rolling out, pun intended, we gotta raise the fair question. Is it really worth the upgrade? Let's talk about it.
Alfonso, this is Optimus Prime. Transform and roll out.
What's good, Alfonso Nation? Welcome back. That's right, we are back for another one. So I've had the chance to check out the Takara Tomy Studio Series Premium Finish Optimus Prime for the Bumblebee film, and put him up against the original release. You know, the one that sent my bottom jaw to the never-clean Walmart floor tiles in what turned out to be my second most viewed Toy Hunt episode ever? Yeah, that guy. I love this guy so much, I chose him as the sole survivor of my mainline collection purge in my ongoing pursuit for upscaled premium figures going forward, and I'm a Bavers guy. Now, I just gotta say it right off the bat. Hats off to the design team in the production of the original Studio Series 38, and all the figures, frankly, in the Bumblebee film category. The proper coloring of the legs and torso, that nice red and blue canvas, the subtle touches of silver on the typically unpainted sections, and the exceptional attention to details on the entire sculpt front and back makes this guy a true gem in the retail movie lineup. He looks incredible considering the retail value and price. But now, with a new sheriff in town, bringing a very similar close measure of excellence previously exclusive to the original, we've got some choices to make. Because that new premium finish is a bad boy. It's one of those things you can see at first glance. One of those glaring contrasts that doesn't require much in-depth analysis. You can immediately see the alterations of red and blue color shading. That quality boost really shows up in those smaller sections with refined weathering and touches of metallic layers, especially on the thigh section. And a bonus of Autobot Loco decal additions on the shoulders, which makes this such a massive difference in a side-by-side comparison. Like seriously, it looks like the premium finish is the official model, and the original is the KO, even though they're both official models. And while the overall sculpt itself is essentially the same, I was surprised to discover that the overall figure sturdiness and joint friction is noticeably much better on the premium finish version. And apparently it seems like that's not exclusive to my copy. It looks like it's across the board from others who have received it as well.
I think the most important thing is this. That is, look at this leg assembly here. Just an absolute mess. It just feels like this is heavier in some ways. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just a looseness. When they say premium finish, guys, and I said this before, like, I don't think they really just mean the finish, because it just feels more premium altogether.
It's almost like that solid build quality could have been given to us in that initial release, but that's another topic for another day. Now, one of the things I noticed that could possibly decrease the overall satisfaction for the premium version is the interesting decision to remove colors that was once typically painted. Certain areas like that little red point on the kneecap, now removed on the premium version. Pretty minor, but noticeable. It's the front of the figure. And the removal of those silver windshield wipers on the chest and the decolored shoulder pads that was once blackened. It's almost like instead of keeping the entirety of what the original release offered and just combining that with new refinements, it's almost like colors just like moving around in a different format, a different layout, which is probably just an obvious money-sparing attempt on Hasbro's part. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But interestingly though, it's not the case when observing the way they've handled other premium finished figures. It's kind of like one of those hit and miss scenarios. But I think the real important factor that really drives this argument of worth and value, as with every other collectible, is the price. In the USA, you're looking at about 30 bucks MSRP for the original Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime. Obviously not much higher than that in the aftermarket sales. And it's about $55 for premium vintage Optimus Prime MSRP in the US, and it's still being sold for that price for the most part, omitting the extreme scalpers. So with regard to these two figures, we're looking at about a $25 to $35 difference, which in the mainline collection world, that's an entirely new figure. Now obviously worth here is subjective, but I will say that with the current upcharge in the aftermarket sale prices for the original, you might as well put that money towards the premium and get a much better figure if you don't already have this guy in your lineup. I will say though, the alt modes in this particular case are strikingly not that much different, with the white stripes kind of replacing the silver on the premium finish version over the original. The subtle color shading changes here and there, you can't really tell too much. I mean, obviously you can see that there are two different figures, but you really don't have that much of a major contrast with regards to the two. You got some pretty subtle differences, even including the Ion Blaster, just different color shading, but for the most part, overall same display, presence, and overall look. But I still think the differences are noticeable enough to justify a price increase. I just don't think it should be that much higher. I think it's probably like $5 to $10 too high on the MSRP price, but that's just my analysis of it. But I'm pretty intrigued to see what figures they choose to actually go for in the future for this premium finish lineup, apart from the typical Optimus and Bumblebee main character treatment. But it's pretty refreshing to at least see an attempt to bring some quality to a usually quantity inclined lineup. But if I had to drop a quick rapid fire top 5 wish list for this premium finish lineup, I would definitely say a good Age of Extinction Studio Series 90 Galvatron would be awesome. Studio Series 61 Sentinel Prime for Dark of the Moon would be much needed to really get all of those details in. Like, I mean, they could do much better than that one. A good Studio Series Evasion Mode Prime once they release the original for that extra battle damage emphasis for that premium finish paint. Definitely Studio Series 44 Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime, one of the most goated figures that we've ever gotten for the Bayverse in this lineup. Definitely needs the love. And I would also say Studio Series 35 Jetfire also, which would be a pretty good 2 bird with 1 stone upgrade if combined with another Optimus Prime figure. You know, it would overall increase the display presence of both of those formats. But anyway, I don't think you can really go wrong with either the original or the premium finish. But if the retail scale is the scale you're going for and you have the extra bucks, I say fuel the jet. Fuel the jet. Fuel the jet. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. And also let me know which figure do you think deserves this premium vintage treatment. And who's to say where this line is actually going to take us, what the future actually holds. Because if they're doing that for the original figures that we already have, well, I mean, what if they do War for Cybertron game characters again, and they start putting premium finishes out for those, or Transformers Prime accurate characters again, and put premium finishes out for those. I just think that the possibility is endless. Obviously, it's going to be a higher price point, but it'll be overall worth it. So I can't wait to see what the future holds. Don't forget to follow me on all of my socials, including Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. I got all of those ads in the description below. And yeah, drop a sub if you're new, and a like if you enjoyed it, and a comment. But that's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And once again, I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Till all are one.